So there's an organization called the Ready that's created a tool called the OS Canvas that helps you to unpick the different elements of your culture and adapt them as you scale. So I'll share a link to the article that contains this, and there's also a book and a PDF, a template that you can go through as well. So I'm not going to go into too much detail because there's a lot of information in there. But the guys at the Ready say every team has at its core a set of assumptions, beliefs, principles, practices, processes, and policies that act as the foundation upon which the day-to-day work unfolds. Aaron, who wrote the book, refer to this as an operating system, a collection of implicit and explicit constraints that shape how we operate. The organizational DNA is so pervasive, unquestioned, and deeply held that we don't even notice it. So, their OS Canvas and the process that accompanies it helps you to identify the elements in your organization and then as a team discuss the changes that you want to make to them. So they talk about 12 areas inside an organization that you need to think about as you're scaling your culture. We've talked about some of these a little bit with the team canvas, but this is a much more comprehensive tool for thinking about an entire organization culture and structure. So the 12 areas, like I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail. The 12 areas of purpose, so how you orient and steer the reason for being at the heart of an organization. Authority, how you share power and make decisions, who has the right to make decisions and take action. Structure, so how you organize the team, the anatomy of an organization, this kind of concentric circles thing that I've talked about in this video. Strategy, how do you plan and prioritize? How do you decide what's like critically important to think about and look at in the organization to then decide how to move forward? Resources, how do you invest your time and money? How do you allocate capital? How do you allocate people? How do you portion off space? How is effort distributed through the organization? And other different things like physical things like computers. Um, Innovation, what are the structures and processes for how you learn and evolve as an organization? How do you figure out how to create something new? How do you evolve the things that already exist in your company? um, Workflow, so how do you actually divide the work up and do the work? Like how does the work flow through the organization? Like what is the path, what is the process through which value is created inside your company? Meetings, so how you meet, how you convene, how you coordinate, how different members of the organization come together to talk about the work they're going to do. Meetings. Um, Information, how data is used and shared and flows, and how people gather insight and extract insight from data. Membership, how relationships are developed and cultivated, how people come into the organization, how people leave the organization. What does it mean to be a member of this company? Mastery, how do people grow and mature and, discover themselves and develop and get better at their jobs? How do they master their craft? And then finally, compensation. So how do we decide how we pay people? How do we provide um, wages, salaries, bonuses, benefits, commissions? How do we share profits? How do we distribute equity in the organization? So they are the 12 essential things that you need to think about when you're using the OS Canvas to think about how you can scale your culture as you grow from a tiny startup to, potentially a massive organization.